Hello, good evening, Black Belts. Thank you for joining another session. Today, we have one of our very early pioneer Black Belts, Hamis Juma from Tanzania. He's going to be talking about AI for educators. We have had sessions on AI before, but this is the current trend. This is what is trending at the moment. And we want all our Black Belts to know as much as possible about AI. So, Mr. Hamis Juma is actually studying for a PhD in India. He is also a consultant at Al Miftah Education Consulting. He also works at 1 Million Teachers. He is also working on project management, educational consulting, researching, and I'm sure he's going to tell us a lot more about himself. So without much further ado, over to you, Hamis.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, and hello, everyone. Good evening. First of all, I have to say, Ma'am Fatima is one of my mentors, and we have been on this channel with 1 million teachers together, and they have been bringing a lot from me as I've been growing. I'm Hamis Juma from Tanzania, currently located in India. I have been working and researching on education, specifically education technologies. And while seeing the AI technology is gaining the momentum, we thought it is good to have the perspective of it. And I have written a few papers on AI from 21 to current. And just recently, we have released a book with other co-educators from UK and America on generative AI 101, trying to highlight the stories of the successes and the challenges of generative AI in education. So what you are going to see today is the perspective that is going to work in our environment as teachers. Every one of us now and then have heard about artificial intelligence, have heard about how people are hyping this, but what is this trend, and as educators, what our journey should be. So I will take this from the perspective of educators and not perspective of the technical persons. So let us go through this, and later we'll have some questions to ask, some answers to explore, and I hope after the session, all of us will be having more questions than answers. To start, let's be flexible. No one is going to program anything or to meet any kind of robot. But let us use our chatbot. How do you feel when thinking about the future of artificial intelligence in education? Just in one word, how do you feel? You can put in the chat box. Are you scared? Are you happy? Are you worried? What do you feel? Everyone has a feeling when someone mentioned AI in education. So how do you feel?
Right, please put your answers in the chat. How do you feel when you think about the future of AI in education? Please put your answers in the chat.
Every technology has a feeling. People should feel something specifically as our learners are using the technology in their assignments. We're using it to create resources. How do you feel? Okay, I can see that, empowered, I'm scared, inquisitive. Highly quality delivery of education, amazing. Okay. Thank you for for sharing, and you can keep sharing. How do you feel when thinking about the future of AI in education? Okay, a lot of us are feeling empowered. Okay. So by starting, I can say whatever we feel in AI in education can be the results of what we have been hearing or what we have been studying so far. Now, let us take this journey together and explore how are we going to have this AI in education and what really is it. To start with, let us look on the few places that we can use the artificial intelligence. When we are speaking of artificial intelligence, we can use it in facial recognition, social media feed, spam filter, autocomplete tasks, grammar check, photo filters, and a number of tasks. But another question that we have to think about when we explore artificial intelligence in education is learner-centric approach. Take you yourself. If artificial intelligence was available when you were a student, what might you have wanted from your teachers? So this is the first question all of us as teachers, as educators, we have to ask ourselves when we are going to deal with artificial intelligence in education. If you have the answers of these questions, then adopt it in your classes. Use it in your classes in a way that it could have been suited to you as a learner or as a student. One thing we have to keep in mind, whenever we plan to use artificial intelligence, let us think, are our students able to adapt with it? Is it empowering us or making the world more loadful? So with this question in mind, while we are going to see what artificial intelligence in education is and how we can use this to empower our teaching and learning, have this question in your mind, and whenever you are going to use any tool, try to reflect back. If you were a student, what might have you wanted from your teachers? So in part one of my short presentation is going to be understanding artificial intelligence, and the second part will be the practical part of it. Artificial intelligence for us is not like a one-day stop. You're going to the shop, you find whatever you want, you pick it, you go home, you use it. No, artificial intelligence for any educator is a journey. You're not going to write just one lesson plan and done with it. And the first step is awareness, like what we are doing now, then going to skill acquisition. First, we have to understand the basics. What is AI? What are the potential implications? Then to go into skill acquisition. After knowing what really AI is, we have to go and skill ourselves to attend workshops like this and see how can we use it. Then create a strategy. Here, we plan how we can use AI, how we can integrate AI. Then we go into implementation. In implementation, we see what we have gained and how are we going to use this implementation. So after implementation, we go to evaluation. So you have the skills, you have your strategy. Now you implement that strategy. Then you check, you evaluate. Does it work or not? Then you go into full integration. If it works for you in your subject, then you can integrate. If it doesn't work, you do the revision. After that, you go to in continual improvement. When you are using it, make sure you monitor. The first day you are using it, the second day, the third year, was it good, was it bad? And later, the last stage is monitoring. So in any AI journey, you have to be aware of whatever tool you are using. You have to gain skill. You have to create a strategy. You have to see how you can implement that strategy. Then you go into evaluation, and you have to make sure that you have the continual improvement, and the future monitoring. So with this, let us see what AI really is. When we speak of AI, we simply means the simulation of human intelligence. So here the basic thing is simulation is not human intelligence or something greater than human intelligence. So this is a process by machines which include learning, reasoning, and problem solving. Whatever is being used or whatever is being done by the machines, simply it simulates what human can do in that perspective. And when we go into common terms that we're using, the first one is generative AI. So when you have generative AI or Gen AI, this is a type of AI. But what it does, it has prediction powers. So it can generate images, languages, audio, media, and so on. You put in your prompt, we'll see what a prompt is, then it can generate something for you. Then we have a model. A model is a software program that is being trained on specific data set to perform a specific task. For instance, it can be tasked to perform searching things in the internet or just to show the location as it is in Google Maps or other kind of software like that. Also, we have large language models. These are complex models. So with a model, perform a specific task. But with large language model, this is a complex model. It have a lot of models in it and can generate a lot of things that resemble human-generated language. Then we have a chatbot. And this is what most of us interact with. When you interact with ChatGPT, when you interact with Google Bard, when you interact with Gemini, when you interact with Copilot, all these are chatbots that behind them there is a model. Then we have training data. These are the data that has been used to train a model. Then we have algorithm. This is set of instruction or rules. The machine is being told, when you see this, it means this. When you are given this data, you have to reason this way. And lastly, we have the prompt. These are the instructions that we enter so as to generate output or to get a task. So after seeing all these terminology, how does this machine learning works? We say we have the data, we have the prompt, we have the models, we have humans who are training. How do they train a machine to work? So they start with labeled data. Let's say you want to work on agriculture, you will collect the flowers or the seeds. Then you select a model to identify a pattern. For instance, you have bicotyledon and monocotyledon. You give that data to a machine, and specifically, the human will train it. This seed is monocotyledon. This seed is dicotyledon. Then you test the model. You give the seed that was not on the training data and ask, is the seed monocotyledon or dicotyledon? If it gives you the right answer, then you can create the software application and you can give to the farmers that this software can tell you what kind of plant you have, what kind of disease you have in your plants, and so on. So this is how the machine learning works. So you can look on these photos here and how the data analyst or data trainers confuse the machine. And you can type in the chat box, what do you see? Just look on these photos here. What do you exactly see? For instance, for me, I see a cookie. What do you see? What do you see? You can put your answer in the chat. Okay, I see a sponge, puppies, a dog. What do you see?
Right, can you put your responses in the chat box, please? Do you see a cake? Do you see a puppy? What do you see?
Okay, dog first, others correct, others deform. Thank you for all this. I see a queen cake. I see different photos of dogs. Okay. So this is a typical example of how you can confuse a machine. For instance, you want a machine to say this is a dog, and you have put all photos of the dog. To confuse it, you take similar objects that can look like that dog or that puppy or that cupcake and give it to a machine. And you ask the machine, what is this? So if you have very limited data, the machine is going to be confused and it will not understand if this is a dog or this is a cookie. So sometimes this is an example when you go into ChatGPT, you ask a question and it gives a wrong answer. For the ChatGPT, which is just a model, that is not wrong. For instance, you are training about dogs and you didn't give these photos of a cookie. So when the machine see this photo, it resembles a dog for like 80%, it will say this is a dog. Oh, you were training about cookies and you didn't put these photos of a dog. You can put a photo of the dog or a puppy and it will tell you this is a cookie. Now we see how the machine can be confused, and knowing that the data that are used in AI are not always complete. So while we have the data in what we have a human language, and what are the similarities? What are the differences? We have to understand this before we delve into using it and into finding like what is really it. When we generate data using the AI, first what it does, it gives you autocomplete and word prediction. That is why it can give you 100 answers in one question. And all of them can be completely wrong or not wrong. Also, it is just randomly and statistically generated. Let's say you are asking about current trends in Uganda, in Kenya, or in Nigeria. What it gives you is not the current trend. It will go and search what people have been saying. So it might be true or not. And it has a little or what we call contextual awareness, and that self-awareness. When you ask the AI, write a letter to my boss telling him 1, 2, 3, it will just write without going into the context. So what is the difference with the human? As humans, when you ask us the questions, we'll give the self-exploration, we'll show the expression, we will relate. And human language is not just conveying the information. We had this joke when we were discussing on this, and we say in Africa, someone can say the same word but mean different things. So we use the word mm-hmm. So someone can say mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. So the same word, when conveyed by a human, it is not just information. Are the emotions, are the feelings, are the relations you understand. But when machines say it's mm. So if we know these differences, we have to keep in mind we use AI to enhance our languages, to enhance what we are doing, but not replacing it. And we call this artificial intelligence. But sometimes we think we miss the word to describe this. Artificial intelligence, it is not intelligent, it doesn't have intelligence. So as educators, as people who are going to train our students, we have to keep this in mind. And we have to make sure that they understand that artificial intelligence, it doesn't have a mind of its own. It does not have the intelligence or having the intelligence. It is just, it mimics. It simulates what human would have done in a much faster way, but it is very different from human intelligence. And while we are into artificial intelligence, we have to consider things like privacy, data security, and fairness. All this data, that is the question we need to have. The second question is bias. Most of the data, where were they gathered? How were they gathered? How were they being trained? Are they going to give us the same feedback if we ask them? Let's say you ask, let's say you go into Copilot or Microsoft Design and you write, draw a photo of a university student in Africa. Remove Africa, put Europe. Draw a photo of university student in Europe. What are you going to get? Are they going to be similar images, just different colors, or totally complete different images? This bias has been there in the internet, and it is going to be there. As teachers, it is our role to understand this and make sure that we know how to deal with this. And privacy and data security. If you are going to use it to assess your learners, make sure that you do not include anything with their information that can be identifiable. Remove those identifiable, because later they can be used by people that you didn't give them an access to. A good example of this is when you go into Google, or when you speak with your friends in Instagram, like, hey, I want to go to salon this week. I want to buy a new hair dryer. I want to buy a new wig. It will not take a minute. Just scroll in your Instagram. All the advertisement you are getting will be on the things that you have been searching that week. You have been speaking that week. So I assume this is going to our learners. And we have to understand this. So if we put their input there, it is our task as educators to make sure that we protect them. No, that was part one. I think it was too fast, but what do you think in this few minutes that I've been speaking and sharing? What you thought AI was and what you think now it is? You can use the chat box and share while we go to the second part. What did you think AI was? If what we are thinking and what we have discussed here is all the same, you can just say, and we can give access to a few people in 2 or 3 minutes to share the verbal feedback. So you can raise up a hand or you can put it in the chat.
Okay, I can see one hand up. Zaharuddin Yishau. Do you want to speak? Do you want to unmute and speak? Zaharuddin? Another person has a hand up, but I don't know the name. You can unmute and speak.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Nusaiba Hassan Imam from Kano State. My thought about AI was it's everything. Like when you're looking for whatever you're looking for, and you get to it, you find it. But now I'm thinking the AI is in you. You're to bring it out from yourself, and then it will help you to work what you think out. That's my thought. Thank you.
Very interesting. Very good. Anybody else? Type in the chat. What did you think about AI before? Have your thoughts changed? What do you think about AI now? Wasiu Aziz, you can unmute and speak.
Wasiu, you can unmute and speak. You unmute.
Sorry, I thought I will mute myself. So good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, my thoughts about AI is that it's an enhancer. Since it's cut across all the facets of human study and endeavor. So like if you want to have an idea of something, AI can shape in you. It can give you a clue. So, and with your own personal knowledge, then you can build upon it. So it's not the solution, it's not an end to a solution itself. It's a means to a solution. It's not the solution, but a means to solution. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you very much. Well said. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pendo Alfonsiana. Pendo Alfonsiana.
Yes, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. At the beginning, I thought that AI could give me everything, but I later realized that AI also depends on us. It depends with you as the user. How are you going to instruct it? What do you want from it? What you command from it is what it gives you. It cannot give you what you don't want. And if you don't command it in a good way, then the given answer that you're going to get also will be just according to what you have requested from it.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. There's some messages in the chat. Somebody says, I thought AI was a guide, an idea generator. I thought AI is artificial intelligence that can give all answers, but now I know it is the human intelligence that is actually important. I thought it was more intelligent than humans, but now I know that it only relies on basic information on the topic sought after from different sources and could be highly prone to error. Well said. Ethel Chineye, you can unmute and speak. Ethel Chineye.
Good evening, Ma.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
For me, when I started hearing artificial intelligence, I did not really understand what it is. I thought it's something out of this world. But as time goes on, when I had issue with some content, if I say it, my children will just say, Mommy, use AI. They downloaded ChatGPT, they downloaded other. So I now saw that it will give you similar thing to what you need. You will now enhance it to how you want it to be. So it's just like somebody says, it's an enhancer. It gives you a wider idea of what you need. You will now bring it out the way you really want it. That is how I see it now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chineye. Prince Patrick, you can unmute and speak. Prince Patrick?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. For me, so far, the journey of AI has been awesome. But one thing I've come to realize is that AI is not a know-it-all. Yes, it's just a guide. It just gives you certain concepts that you now tend to like put it, at least arrange to give you actually what you want. So if you solely depend on AI, you might find out that what you're putting out, it's not right. At first, that was how I tried it. But later on, I got to understand that whatever the AI gives you is all about taking it and rearranging it to what you want so that you now can push it out there. That's how I've seen AI so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince Patrick.
Okay, there is a hand of Adelphina.
And then we'll stop. Yes, Adelphina Pantaleo.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. In the beginning, I thought AI could do everything for human beings. But after this session, I realized and I actually compared it with calculators that when you prompt maybe formula in the calculator, it will give an answer for obviously, but it will not be a wrong answer if you have not prompted it clearly. Likewise, AI, if you prompt it clearly, it will give you what you want. But more than that, the initial idea should come from human thinking still, but also the answer obtained should also be contextualized. That's what I got from this presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank
Wow.
you very much.
Okay. Thank you all. And there is a concern in the chat box, like how can AI find out students' psychological worries in the classroom environment? And this comes like what I said. AI is simple, random, statistically generated, but humans, we are having the relations and all. That's why a lot of things that are going into education cannot be done with AI. So the question now is, what's next? And so as I said first, in our AI journey, that we need first to have the awareness. And that was the first part of this station. And our second part is exploring it. And I know you have been using AI for some times now, and some of you are the experts. But I said, okay, let's just start with the awareness to give out the idea that like, yes, we're using the AI, we're using the chatbots, but what really AI is? And after that, let us go to the skill. Let us explore and see. We won't know until we try. So if you have your phone, you can try it right away, or your laptop, you can try it right away as we go on. And if not, we'll share these slides with you after the sessions, and you'll be trying, and you can share the feedback later. Okay, in the chat box, just write one tool that you think is the best for you. I know you have used a lot of tools. Just type one tool that you think it is the best. While you are typing your answers, I see a concern from Aisha. She was asking, how can you use AI on psychological issues of students? Like, how can I use AI to find out students' psychological worries in the classroom environment? This is possible, to Aisha, but you'll need to have a lot of resources. And you'll need to have a lot of training data on your students. You need to have the cameras to see their reaction change. You'll need to have the training data to see your students when they're normal and when they're not normal. So it's a complicated thing. Okay, so I've seen a lot of answers. So every one of us think one type of AI tool is the best. I cannot say it is the best or it is not the best. We had this discussion a few days ago with other people in the similar workshop. You have mentioned a lot of AI resources, but all these AI resources are either going into the two groups. You have to keep this in mind. Most are being developed by Microsoft or Google. And we have a separate competitor who is OpenAI. OpenAI is also co-owned with Microsoft. So in OpenAI, we have GTP 3.5, which is good. Most of us are just saying ChatGPT. And we have GPT-4, which is better. It is free. Also, we have the Google Gemini, or it was known by bad. So they have come 2.0 now, and they have Gemini. We have Microsoft Copilot, and I use this most in the PDFs and etc. It has GPT-4, it has the website, and it's free. So most of the GPTs that you are using out there are the product from either OpenAI, Google Gemini, or Microsoft Copilot. So you might have mentioned a lot of resources, and most of these are basing on these three producers. I don't think that it is going to be a monopoly in the education sector, but we are open to that thinking. And when you try to use a chat box, there are things that you have to think. You have to understand in order to know that chat box can just give you direction, can just help you in the basic knowledge can just help you in a way that other human cannot. Because that is just like going into the Google, searching for the information. Google results will give you 100 information, but the chatbot will give you the specified information. You can do this when you're out with friends. You can have some thoughts, and then you can give it to chatbot, and then you can share that experience with others. Like if you are 3 or 4, all of you try to search similar thing in your devices and try to understand, is AI working the same, or is AI working on the personalization? Like you're basing in Uganda, try to search, I'm in Uganda, how can I cook the favorite meal here? Just a basic thing. So all 4 of you try to search that and try to search how it gives you the instruction. Is it similar? Is it different? And how can you do this? To understand the AI, start with something that is fun. You can start with creating a recipe. Give it I want to create fufu. I want to create the rice, jollof rice. I want to create ugali. I want to create biryani. Then look on how it gives you the answers. Or you can just to play a game. You can try to plan a surprise part. These are basic things that you can start with to understand how can you take it. If you are generating image, start with something that is small, not something in your class. Like, give me an image of a kid fishing. Then give out the weakness from that. Oh, so if I use the AI, the fingers are not fully formed. If I'm using the AI, I might get something that is not there. For instance, in this photo, if you look at the photo clearly, look on that brain on the whiteboard here. So just look on the instructions up here. AI in the classroom. It is not AI in the classroom. It is something else. I don't know what, but AI-INT the classroom. So these are minor differences. You have to see, are they whole? Are they complete? Are there some things that are changing when I use the AI to generate the image? Are there some things different when I use AI to generate the recipe? Are they something different? So these small things, something fun, can give you the strength and the weakness part of the AI that you're going to use. And I call this the best basic guide to use any AI. And this is how we can gain the skills in using the AI. When you want to use AI to do anything in education, kindly follow the steps, use the prompt that is structured. If you're having 2 devices, you can try in the other device. Just write any question without a structured prompt. Later, write the same using the structured prompt, and you can see this. The first thing, giving out the role. Let's say you are giving a work to do for your learners, and you want it to be done according to instructions. I'm teaching graduate students, or today we are discussing about AI in education. I will have to say, I am going to deliver a session on artificial intelligence in education for educators. That is my role. So all the answers curated for me will be curated to that way, that these instructions are being given by a tutor for a graduate level. So if you are teaching in primary, give it a role. I am teaching primary 3 in Nigeria. So that is your role. When it goes back into the data sets, it will go back to primary 3 in Nigeria. It will go back to primary 3 in Kenya, and not just general data. Second, you have to mention your goal. What do you want to achieve? So I am teaching primary 3 in Nigeria. I want to give my learners, so that is your goal. You want to give your learners, you want to give them what? I want to give my learners a creative writing course. So the chatbot will understand the person I'm attending now is a primary 3 teacher, and the goal is giving out a creative writing course. After this, you give a step-by-step instruction. How is this done? You introduce yourself to the learners. You tell it, instruct the learners to write a creative story that their grandfathers and grandmothers told them when they were young. The story should be original. So you have your role. I am a primary 3 teacher in Nigeria. I'm giving my learners a task to generate a creative story. Instruct them to write their story. So that is a step-by-step instruction. You tell that chatbot, either ChatGPT, Copilot, or Gemini, to instruct your learners what to do. Then you come to personalization. In personalization is where you put the context. So you tell them to give their stories. In personalization, you can say, this story should be based in West Nigeria, in Lagos, in Abuja. So the learners understand. Then you give the constraint. What you do not want to be included in that question, you can tell. So if it was me, I would say, I am a teacher who is going to deliver a session on artificial intelligence to educators. My goal is to use 1 hour to deliver the awareness part and simple skill acquisition part. Prepare 11 slides for me. These slides should be based on awareness, skills, and things to consider. Only include things based on artificial intelligence in education. So I give it a role, I give it a goal, I give a step-by-step, I give a personalization and a constraint. One thing that most of us think when we are using the chatbot is give it 1 line, 2 line. No. You can write 2 pages. You can write 3 pages. You can write 1 page. You can write 100 words, and that will only be a question. When you're using artificial intelligence, give it every detail so that it gives you the supposed answers. So when you use a structured prompt, it will not give you 100% correct answers, but you'll have at least 80% accuracy in your answers. So this is how we do the structured prompt. And when or when not to use the chatbots. You have seen how we can use the structured prompt, but it comes with the benefits and some challenges. When you want some help, when you want to understand the concept, you have written your piece, you want the right wording, you want to avoid the repetitive tasks, you just want to brainstorm, or you just get to get some improvement. But be very careful when you want the deep expertise in specialized fields. You are a teacher. You are having a student in your classroom. He or she is having special issues. It is risky to trust this AI to give you the specific answers. Second, Teachers, we are researchers. AI will not give you specific and credible sources. It will give you imaginative sources. Just write an essay on artificial intelligence in education and give the sources. It won't give you the specific sources or the credible sources. Another thing, when you want to understand the context and nuances something has, like I want to understand currently, let's say I've seen recently in the news, Kenya boycotting their budget and something like that. So I want to understand that context. It is very hard to use artificial intelligence to get to the perspective, because that data is current, that data is new, it has not been trained. It will take some time for it to understand. It will take some time for it to learn and process. Another is complex problem solving. And these are coming mostly in ethical dilemma issues. When you have 6 people, you want to save one in the house, the elderly, the disabled, the kid, or the mother who is in the family way. Whom one are you going to save? Just go like this, ask these ethical issues with AI. You will see. You have caught your student cheating. He's having whatever he has, the paper or the book with him. What are you going to do? The critical thinking behind this is only human who can comprehend. Another part is when something has to include the empathy and emotional intelligence. As teachers, we have to understand the empathy while we are teaching. The emotional intelligence. We have to be mindfulness. We have to be critical thinkers, and we have to reason. And this cannot be done while we are using the AI. So we are going to use the structured prompt, but let us be careful when we are using it, and we should not use it where we need the human relation in it, when we need the specific examples, when we need ethical judgment as well as emotional intelligence. And we can try this and see what do we get and how can it change our current perspective, and how can it change our current practice into adaptable users, the users who can use well the artificial intelligence in education. My final word could be AI does not replace our creativity. AI is here to empower it. You are not good at drawing, you can use AI to give you some ideas how this photo would look like. You are not good in language, you can write your essay, you can write a piece and give it to AI and try to see how it can respond and how you can improve. And when you rely much on AI, it will come a day you cannot function without it. It is like a crutch. If you're not disabled and you are using the crutch and you totally depend on it, it will come a day you cannot walk without it. So let us use the AI in a place where it only empowers our creativity and not replacing it. And thank you for listening. I know it is much in 1 hour, and I hope on this second part you can get some time to train, to experience, and when you have the questions, we can always ask, and we'll be there to support every one of us. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Hamis. Thank you so much to take in. That was a very informative and educative session on AI. I think there's some messages. We'll look at some of the messages in the chat. Very insightful. Thanks a lot. Okay, these are just coming. When we use AI, even when we don't know AI is inbuilt, we use it. I thought AI can use this problem. What question? I think we've answered your question. Yeah.
I have a question here. I can see.
Okay.
Okay, the first one is a concern like we use AI even when we don't know. These days, AI isn't built, and this is the truth. Like what I said about the Instagram, about the Google Map, about the Facebook, even your Gmail now uses the AI. So you are using it. They won't tell you, but you're using it. And this is something that people in open education are advocating. Like every software should tell people, does it have AI or not? And they had this joke like in the next 2 or 3 years, the new software will be saying, this is a good software, it doesn't have AI. So people are going to run away from it because it doesn't ask for your permission. It just learns from whatever you're putting. And one is saying, sir, are you saying ChatGPT is more reliable than Google? If yes, we introduce use of ChatGPT to our students to find solution to give and take homework. AI is not reliable. Any kind of AI, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Bard, whether it's Copilot. And the use of AI in assessment is a tricky subject. First, why do you want to use it? That is the question. Second, accessibility. All your learners have the same accessible devices to use it? Because if you tell them or you give them the task to do using the chat GPT and come to present, what if to the learners who doesn't have access to mobile, to the laptops, to the internet, and they expect to do this? And lastly, the creativity. Is it an open task that have creativity? Let's say if I want to give them a cookery exam, like how can you cook a cake? So I'll tell them, go search on the internet. So whether they use the Google or the ChatGPT, I won't mind. But they have to come to the class and explain to me, not just write it. So you can use these technologies in that creative way in your assessment. But be careful when you're using this in assessment. You have to assess the need and the accessibility and the equity. Technology should bring your learners together and not separating them. And this is it. And we will see in the future, if we are having time, we can go more into AI and assessment and try to see how can you strategize AI in assessment. But the first step in our skill acquisition is how to use the structured prompt. Because if you are going there and search like anyone else, you're going to get the answer that most people are getting. But if you are using this structured prompt, it is going to lead you somewhere where you can say, okay, now I'm at least 80%. I'm saying 80% because it is not 100% reliable. So thank you for the concern, and I hope I've tried to answer.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much. It's been very enlightening. I think the take home message for me is that you need to structure what you want to ask it to do. You need to be clear and don't lose your creativity. At the end of the day, it is artificial intelligence. It's not as intelligent as you, and it's a tool that you can use. So thank you so much. Right. I just have a few messages before we go. The HP Mat 5 Menti application and mentor applications are out. I am going to put it in the chat box. You're free to apply. I've just put it there. So HP Mentor Teacher Program Cohort 5 is going to be launched very soon. You can fill in the application forms. If you've done the course before, you can be a mentor. If you haven't done it, you become a mentee. So stay tuned for the closing date for the mentor and mentee application form. Right. Thank you so much, Hamis. You finished right on time. And this will be available on YouTube by tomorrow. So if anybody needs to go back and look at some of the things that you've said about AI, it will be available online. Thank you very much. Okay, so with that, we're going to call today's meeting an end. Thank you very much for all that joined. Have a nice evening. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.